Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for the opportunity to discuss the education industry cloud computing trends. So, I'm Sebastian Leks, I'm an AWS solutions architect, and I help education customers adopt technology to accelerate development of new services and services for students, educators, and staff. I'm part of the AWS service creation team, and our team's goal is to enable public sector technology organizations to take new ideas from concept to production in 6 to 9 months. So, this is a very accelerated program, and our team was created directly in response to organizations asking for ability to accelerate their innovation and really to match the pace of the industry. I come to AWS from an education industry. I've been in an education technology company where I led a team on building technology solutions to help organizations scale the development and deliver of learning. And while at AWS, I've been working with education customers over the last 3 years. I had an opportunity to really interact and respond to education industry challenges. So here I wanted to share a few of the topics and trends that have emerged in the conversations with the customers. And really, this is coming from the leaders from higher education, research, secondary education, also from technology organizations. And I'll highlight some examples of how we're able to tackle these challenges. So as we all know, COVID-19 has expedited digital adoption in the education industry and really encourage all educators to rethink how to best deliver education to students. And many agree that the pandemic has forced education organizations to innovate, to embrace technology, and really to continue providing education in hybrid environments. And students continue to demand more flexibility and more personalization. So educators now agree that personalized education yields better learning outcomes, and technology has just accelerated this process. So for teaching to be more effective, educators agree that they should focus on how students are engaging with the material, and they should use technology to drive engagement and interaction. And as an example, we see a breed of these new technologies. They offer a personalized learning assistant to students to remind them of their assignments and offer feedback on their learning experience. We also see a lot of data analytics solutions, and they enable teachers to better understand how students are learning and what interventions are needed to support them. And according to Education Week, 97% of districts in the US have invested in some form of personalized learning. So really the pandemic prompted this newfound urgency to reinvent curricula and really offer more flexibility in learning. A good example I wanted to share is Discover Education. And Discover Education is enhancing content recommendations for educators using Amazon Personalize, and they provide standards aligned digital curriculum resources. So this is professional learning for K-12 classrooms, and they currently serve approximately 4.5 million educators, 45 million students worldwide, and the resources are accessed in over 140 countries. So a huge scope, and their learning platform is known for expansive treasury of digital resources. They include more than 200,000 videos, text-based passages, interactives, audio, podcasts, really variety of content. All of that for critical topics that educators have to serve today to the students. And as you could imagine, this vast amount of content, there's a challenge in finding the right set of learning resources. So Discover Education, with the recently launched enhanced learning platform, they embedded Amazon Personalized to make content recommendations. So they have the sections just for you, and the area of the Discover Education platform's homepage now connects educators with a unique personalized set of resources, and it's based on grade level taught, preferences, resources they have found useful in the past. And these recommendations, they change, adapt based on educators' behavior and preferences. And they really enhance the daily platform in a way that is truly adaptive and personalized. And I would like to highlight how we actually accomplish that. So Amazon Personalized allows the developers to build applications with the same with the same machine learning technology that's used for Amazon.com. So if you shopped on Amazon.com, you're familiar with all the suggestions that you get, and this is driving the real-time personalized recommendations. For using Amazon Personalized, you don't need any machine learning expertise, and that's really key for educational institutions. Often we find organizations, they don't really have a specific department dedicated to data science, machine learning. They need tools that they can just enable. And Amazon Personalized enables those organizations to add that performant real-time personalization and recommendations just easily. Essentially, you enable it, configure it. It's a short development cycle. And there are a few use cases that have come up very frequently. So one is creating unique, excuse me, creating unique student and educator experiences. So really recommending the content to users to enhance the discovery and tailoring learning experiences. And really that enhances the communication. It improves discoverability, obviously. And then also organizations look at if they have existing recommendations, how can they improve it? So essentially they use machine learning to refine those content recommendations. And we've seen organizations really benefit from these pre-built recommenders. So in Amazon Personalized, you essentially use an existing model, it's been pre-trained, and this very quickly allows you to increase student engagement. So you can immediately see a difference. You can, if you're measuring the student engagement in, perhaps sessions, time spent, number of times a specific content has been used, students actually, the length of learning session, you can immediately see a difference when students are being served the personalized content, and also lowers the educator's effort. They're not working when they're working with large volumes of content, obviously helping them figure out which content is applicable for a specific scenario. So really, in summary, every learner has a unique set of educational goals with multitude of content available. And really the challenge is tailoring that experience to the personal interest of every user. And with Amazon Personalized, you can really adapt it to individual preferences. You can use those real-time capabilities. And really you can develop and deploy this solution to production within weeks. We have use cases that we can leverage for that type of deployment, and resources I mentioned at the end that you can tap into to help you with those projects. So moving to other areas that have been quite a hot topic, vast majority of organizations across the world are offering a blend of face-to-face and online teaching assessment. And we see that across the industry. And with teaching moving online, educators now need more ways to assess learning remotely. And in response to the pandemic, many countries even canceled or postponed their national end-of-year test for secondary schools. We've seen those cancellations where those tests were moved online. So many schools and universities attempted to move their exams online, but that has not always been easy. There are challenges. So as an example, London School of Economics and Political Science quickly realized that just enabling and moving students to concurrent usage of their system poses stress on their existing on-premise infrastructure. And really to support these directions, organizations are also developing new ways of assessing and essentially new models for delivery. So for example, grading and scoring student work and test results. I have a good example here from wiser.me from Israel, and it's an AWS EdStart member. They have over 5 million users, and they transform any static worksheet, so kind of an assessment worksheet, into a smarter, interactive, differentiated worksheet by allowing easy definition of personalized learning and automatic answer checking. So these worksheets become exchangeable units where they can share within the wiser community of educators. And teachers create these interactive digital worksheets for all of their students and differentiate questions based on student profiles. Teachers can avoid wasting paper for printing and grading by hand, and teachers can save, they estimate, more than 6 hours a week on grading. So it's a huge saving for the educators. And testing really should be more authentic and continuous. So we have noticed that's a trend. So assessing skills in a more realistic way. So for example, Revisely, it's an education company that helps teachers give better feedback on students' writing assignments. They actually added plagiarism checks to their essays. So really interesting technology, and it's all using automations. So how do organizations do that? Often we see using automating the process with image and video analysis with machine learning using Amazon Recognition. So Amazon Recognition offers pre-trained and customizable computer vision. So those capabilities will help you extract information and insights from images and videos. Um, and there are key features that educators look for. So labeling, being able to detect an object. So essentially, you can detect object or a scene or an activity within an image or a video, something like a writing or talking on a phone. So we see that use case come up quite often in assessment scenarios where the proctors need the assistance of the solution to help them essentially scale. Another use case that we see very frequently come up is face compare and search. So really being able to determine the similarity of face against another picture or a private image repository. And we have seen few examples where organizations use this feature to enhance the student authentication during exams. So essentially tracking the exam, making sure that this is the student that has originally authenticated for the exam. And really, organizations are seeking more ways to save money. They're looking for less time and lower cost of booking testing locations, right? These are usually expensive resources. And they want to scale their proctors and the instructors. So really leveraging virtual proctoring that gives them that ability to increase and scale testing and accommodate test takers all over the globe. So using the computer vision allows humans proctors to manage larger online exams instead of kind of having those small groups. Now they can use automation to help them gather the necessary insights. I have a good example, Concept Waves. This is an edtech-based company in India and Africa, and they enhanced their platform Edu Squares, and it's an ERP platform. It provides resources to educational organizations. They added proctoring solution to it, and the web-based application allows now proctors to virtually monitor test takers, so they can identify in real time fraud, and that's using Amazon recognition. And this visual solution helps them essentially scale what they were able to do before kind of manually by adding the automation. So it really improves the proctor's ability to monitor. And this particular university was able to implement this solution successfully on over 6,000 tests. So it's a huge scale of automation. And companies we notice looking for specific benefits. They're looking for access to a capability that's already pre-existing. And with Amazon recognition, you get state-of-the-art capabilities out of the box for deep learning, for image and video analysis. So we have a test environment where you can essentially create a small proof of concept. You can kind of run your data through it, and you can see what kind of results you can get. And we do that often with customers in education to kind of visualize what kind of insights could you gain from the images and the video that you have available, and also allows for rapid integration. So it's a serverless solution. You can very quickly leverage other AI/ML services with it. Um, it's pay as you go, so it allows you for cost optimization. We see universities and organizations adopt specific schedules or essential iterations where they will, for example, take a snapshot every so often to verify that this is still the student that is supposed to take the assessment. And it obviously decreases manual effort. Again, we're talking about scaling the operations and being able to accommodate more students. And at the end, we focus very strongly on security, and we add encryption, and you also have data residency that you can maintain. So it's a very comprehensive solution that if you have an assessment in your portfolio, this is something that's probably on your radar. So I'm going to move on to another topic that's very critical. And this is one of the two top most pressing issues for presidents and public four-year institutions: mental health of students and mental health of faculty and staff. And this is based on American Council on Education survey from 2020. And educators now pay more attention to students' mental well-being. And this is amidst the pandemic and really the rapid changes in their learning environment. But even before pandemic, we have seen educators already struggled with the demand for mental health support. So research by Boston University shows that mental health problems correlate with dropping out of college. So this is a huge data points and maybe a blind spot for a lot of universities. So some universities are now using data analytics to gain insights to really figure out which students are struggling and intervene early to support them. And as an example, Beta Systems in Brazil offers municipal education departments the ability to use machine learning for such predictions. So really being able to get ahead of that dropout event. And really, in response to crisis, some universities have set up hotlines and chatbots. And we have an example from Los Angeles Unified, and this is the second largest school district in US. And they set up a large and diverse community. They have set up a cloud-based call center, and they provide mental health support to students and families. And they were able to set up in just a few days. So the superintendent stated that the mental health and family hotlines were up and running within just a few days. And that's a key, essentially having very kind of a small footprint and a very quick onboarding process. Alongside that, Amazon Connect that I was using in this project also provides self-service. So essentially, you as a stakeholder, you define what flows you will have, what type of resources you will involve in that process. We also have a very integrated experience. So it allows you to include other services, data analytics. We also integrate directly with other AI services to essentially help the operators create personalized automated experiences. And this is a good example that we have seen with students, where you, for example, have a interaction that students are used to. They probably have an Alexa or Siri, so they're able to provide essentially this solution provides the students a very familiar interface. They're able to essentially use the voice commands that they use every day, very very kind of a familiar environment. And then they also we also seen our customers use a solution to essentially do a voice recognition to be able to automate the interaction with the student or educator. So it automatically can detect the student's intent or issue based on what they say. So imagine a student calling in and just within a few first seconds we can identify a student based on the voice, so we can help out with authentication. And then also by the first few phrases we can find out exactly how to route the student, right? What will be the most helpful person that will help that student. So in summary, organizations are improving student well-being by adopting multiple solutions. And we have experienced that one of these quick wins where you can implement it very quickly is the communication technology to very quickly establish a direct connection with your students. Good. So I'm going to mention privacy and security. I know Ed and James have already expanded on this topic. We have talked about cyber attacks and an increasing threat from really all directions. And education institutions are particularly vulnerable, right? So with more and more students conducting their educational activities online, video conferencing, taking online exams and more, academic institutions increasingly have to scrutinize vendor contracts and to ensure compliance to laws protecting student security and privacy. And also educators are becoming more vigilant. We talked about earlier about ways to educate the staff, but it's also kind of it's becoming a topic, right? And as an example, Ellucian uses AWS for global, scalable, highly secure, and innovative platform to host its application, and they serve it to users in more than 20 countries. So as you can imagine, the complexity of being able to support, compliance across multiple countries as well as just millions of users, right? So we do strive to provide organizations with comprehensive solution, and we have, in addition to the solutions, we also have security experts. They're monitoring the systems 24/7, and all data flowing through the AWS global network, and that kind of maybe touches also on the Fiber Connect, is everything that's interconnected through our data centers and regions is automatically encrypted. But we encrypt at the physical layer before it leaves our secured facilities. So we add all of those layers of security to ensure that the data is protected. And we also provide you a set of tools, right? So just to ensure that you have the right mechanisms, we connect you with partners. We had a session earlier discussing additional options on how you could protect your environment. And I will mention one service here that's very relevant to our education customers, and this is Amazon Comprehend. It's our natural language processing service, and it's using machine learning to find insights and relationships like people, places, sentiments, topics in unstructured text. And we have seen education organizations use Amazon Comprehend capabilities to detect and redact personally identifiable information. So you may have documents that you store, and you may have information that perhaps you're using for data mining, using this as a kind of a general storage. Amazon Comprehend can identify API data and can redact it automatically. This is good for support ticket as an example. You probably want to make sure that there's essentially a layer of redaction on those, so a personal identifiable information is not exposed to someone who's maybe not assisting in a particular ticket. And it also applies to learning content. So this helps you scan, make sure that you're not leaking out PI data. The great thing is no ML experience required, similar to the other services we've talked about. You can jumpstart your development very quickly. So kind of to sum it up, you see that attackers are increasingly threatening your infrastructure, your network, and really to match that challenge, you need a comprehensive solution. So we're here to help connect you with our partners as well to give you access to those tools. I want to mention the resources that you have available. So we've talked about the teaching models are changing, and obviously that requires you to innovate more. And it's a forcing mechanism. And despite these challenges, we still see educational institutions institutions using that instead of just kind of as being pushed into it, they use it as an opportunity to innovate. And really, a lot of organizations are thriving in this era of rapid change. So you wanted to highlight a few resources that you have available. You have your when you open an AWS account, you have access to your solution architects, and you have specialized solutions architects for each education domain. So you can engage with those architects to brainstorm on use cases and really get support for the solutions that you're implementing. We also have a wide variety of programs, and these programs will help you identify key areas where we could help with our expert resources. And really, we can help you build a POC, jumpstart this process, kind of very similar to one of the options is our service creation team that will help you essentially ideate on the pro on the pro on the on the solution and drive all the way to production release within 6 to 9 months. We also have a vast variety of options on the partner network side, and this is our usual go-to. When we're looking for solutions, we'll usually look for partner solutions because those are very, very specialized and mature solutions that we like to complement our architectural designs. And we have an array of AWS certified partners to help you to the POC and building all the way to production. And at the end, we have a variety of educational materials and just really ways to enable your team. We have immersion days, which are kind of a 1 day, very intense sessions, kind of like a quick boot camp. We have workshops, we have training materials and certification. So we can help you conduct training. We can come in and help you with that. We have partners that can do that, as well as internal departments for kind of a longer training. We have practical education for new and experienced practitioners, so we adapt to the level of knowledge that you require, and also we use it internally as well. So these are the same resources. We use the same materials. We like to think they're very high quality, and yeah, they're available to everyone who has an AWS account. And just to sum it up, I'm really looking forward to hearing from you on how you innovate and how you actually solve education challenges. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share these updates with you. And Ron, I'll give back to you.